Hey guys, time for some drawing. Hey everybody, Brent Florica here, and welcome back to another episode of Sketchbook B. This time I am going to be completing my set of Robo Western drawings that I've done for my kids. This one is the last one, and it's for my youngest daughter. And she really likes her stuffed penguin that she has. That's kind of her favorite stuffed animal right now. So I decided to go with a Robo Penguin, and I was doing some rough sketching the one day, and this concept came together pretty quickly. And you know, I'm gonna do a couple different views of it just in rough form here, and that was mostly because I just wanted to get a better sense of kind of the general shape of things as I was going through it, just seeing the concept from kind of more than one side just to help me get a better feel for the design as a whole. But really, as I was going through it, I kind of knew already I wanted to go with the kind of side view one, just because my daughter is so little. She's just one, so I wanted to be able to kind of have her visible instead of hidden behind the machine, so that, you know, you'd only see her head popping out or something like that. Maybe that would have been cool, but I don't know. I just felt like this was the way to go. You can tell me in the comments whether or not you think I made the right choice, and which of these angles you would have preferred. But so yeah, I did kind of a 3/4 angle here just to kind of finish off my rough stuff, and then created a new layer for my inks and started into that. I'm getting a lot more comfortable with my ink work now that I've got some more time in with Sketchbook Pro. You know, I'm just getting a better feel for the ink brush and, you know, how much pressure to apply and that kind of thing. There's still some tweaking that needs to be done. There's definitely times when I feel like my line work is kind of cartoony, and that's not exactly what I'm going for. So I still need to do some more refinement, but I am just getting more comfortable with the whole process of digital art and going through the steps along the way of, you know, sketching in pencil and then inking and then coloring and you know, flatting in there as well prior to kind of full-blown coloring. But yeah, it's becoming a lot more fun for me and more second nature. So I'm excited about that and what that means for the future of this channel and getting into some more potentially ambitious projects. So yeah, now you can just see I'm applying some just kind of rough shading and some little details and refinements to the inking. This robot I'm actually really enjoying. I had so much fun putting together this concept. It's kind of cutesy, which is exactly what I was trying to go for. You can see now I'm trying to kind of rough out my daughter in here, and this was actually really challenging. It's hard to draw little kids, I'm finding, because their proportions are just so different from adult anatomy, and sometimes it's hard to make them look like little kids. So I had to mess around and kind of move things around a lot with the proportions until I was kind of happy with how this came together and how it was looking. So let me know in the comments if you think it turned out okay, or if you think there's some areas that need improvement. But yeah, I was really tickled with how it came together. I decided to kind of give her some shades along with her soother there, and I don't know, something when she wears little sunglasses, I always find that so adorable. So I thought that would be kind of a fun little detail to add. Yeah, so that kind of brings us to the end of the basic inking stage, and now I'm starting into the flatting. This is, yeah, more or less the step where I just kind of block out the main areas of color, and I use this also as an opportunity to kind of rough out my color scheme. So before I go into final coloring and you know, shading and darks and lights and, you know, all of that detail, I just like to get sort of a rough sense of the base color for each section and I feel like this is oftentimes a good place to do it. So as you can see, I start by boxing out the whole thing, and then I start creating new layers for each individual section so that if I don't like it, I can adjust the colors before I move into kind of final coloring. And by kind of blocking out the entire area first and then blocking out separate areas of color over top of it, I make sure that there's no white space underneath the line work that might fall through the cracks, because that can kind of create some issues when you go to print it out or things like that. If the ink stuff doesn't line up exactly with the colors, then you can have areas of white showing through, and you don't want that. So I learned that from K. Michael Russell over on Color with Kurt, his channel there. So he's got a lot of good information and tutorials on how to color, and I've learned a lot from watching his videos, so feel free to check him out. So yeah, just roughing out the colors. My daughter's stuffed animal is a pink penguin, so I thought I'd stick with that. Making some adjustments because it is a machine, in sort of a westerny vibe. I thought I'd add some other bits to it and some different colors besides just the pink. I wanted it to still look like it's a mechanical machine. So yeah, started playing around with some different colors and things that I thought might work. I went pretty intense with the that really bright sort of almost salmon color, like a deep salmon colored reddish pink. And ultimately, when I went to do the final coloring, I actually deviated from that, as you're going to see eventually. But that's why this stage is so fun, because you get to play around with stuff as you're just kind of figuring out your color blocking. And as you're arriving at something that you think is looking pretty good, you can still make adjustments very easily to the colors of different layers to just quickly correct mistakes that you might have made, or kind of sync up the color theory of the piece a little bit more. And I felt like with this one there was just a little bit too much going on with that pink, so that's why I ended up kind of backing it off and going with something a little bit more in line with the rest of the colors on the piece. You want to just have kind of one or two sort of dominant colors, and the rest is just secondary sort of coloring that accents it. But you don't want too many things competing for attention, because it just kind of it becomes too busy. So now I'm just making some final adjustments to the ink work and stuff, some basic sizing and things, getting that smoke in there, that color adjusted, and organizing my layers a little bit so that it's a little bit easier for me. I made a copy of all of my flats. I actually merged them down into all one layer and kept that one, but then made a copy of it to start working over for my colors. And you can see here I'm playing around with some different brushes lately. I think this is like a synthetic paintbrush that I was using there for the smoke, and it gives kind of a nice smooth blendy sort of look. I'm still playing around with it, but I'm liking the potential with this brush. And then after that, I just grabbed kind of the ink pen again, which is one of my favorite brushes in Sketchbook Pro to use, and then just started to go in and do some shading over the colors. I went with kind of a light purple. I noticed a lot of people do this instead of going with just kind of like a gray or some variation of black to use to do your shadows with. I've found it adds a little bit more life to use an actual color like purple or something. Just add some depth, and I've really enjoyed playing around with it. So I've put in a few different layers before moving on to my highlight layer. My shadows I did on a multiply layer with the transparency dropped a little bit, and then the highlights I did on their own layer. I think it was set to screen, if I remember correctly. But just different effects within the program that you can do. And this one was a lot of fun, because as I was getting to the end here, I thought, I'm liking how this is looking. I'm enjoying it, but I wanted to do a few extra things. So I added this rim lighting, which I felt really took it to the next level. Some little highlight dots, because it is, metal surfaces and stuff. So I wanted to get that shine in there. And then after signing it, I thought, I'm going to try and add a background to this. I liked how it looked, but I thought, we can we can make this a little bit more complete. So, you know, after just kind of putting in one more final layer of shadow, I decided, all right, well, let's get some background in there. Created a new layer, and I used my loose kind of paint brushes again, just scaled up to a really large size, and just started blending away. And I tried to create sort of a vignette vibe with it, and I was really happy with how it turned out. But let me know in the comments what you think of this one. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for joining me at Sketchbook B, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much again for joining me at Sketchbook B. Please like, subscribe, share the video with your friends, all of that good stuff. Really hope you enjoyed the Robo Penguin and all of the other Robo Westerns I've done for my kids. Feel free to let me know in the comments which one was your favorite, and also let me know if you want to see me combine all 4 of them into one kind of more ambitious piece, I think with like a full background and everything. Please let me know in the comments, and I will see you all next time.